Way back in the good old days when the T-54s and then the T-10M and the IS-3 and the IS-4 were just the most awful things to run into in the game and have to fight against, I finally unlocked the Leopard 1, and it was just a gift. A gift sent from on high. It quickly became one of my favorite vehicles to drive. Also, to me, it was the first of the really modern-looking, westernized main battle tanks with the classical kind of shape to it. The low-slung turret with the 105 gun on the front, just kind of epitomized more modern tank design, getting out of the World War II era and the 50s and getting into the lineage that led to our main battle tank designs of today. And I just absolutely love the Leopard 1. Have always loved it ever since it came in. It's been superseded for me, of course, by some more modern Leopards with stabilizers and better guns, but there'll always be a soft spot in my heart in War Thunder for the original Leopard 1 when it came out into the game. Around the same time the T-10M came out, and boy, what a pain in the butt this thing was to fight. For the longest time, this thing just ruled high tiers when it was the highest tier Soviet tank that there was. Boy, it was such a pain in the butt to fight against the T-10M. And for those same reasons, it's why it's also in one of my favorite tanks list, because it was so good to play with. I put a talisman on it. I unlocked a whole bunch of tanks with this thing. I had a really particularly good first 10 when I was driving it. Couple three kill battles and so on, which for a stock tank wasn't too bad. And I remember at the end of it, I pronounced it one of the most instantly battle-ready tanks at stock configuration as you could find. It's been kind of taken out of my high-tier rotation now because heavy tanks don't have a real particular place. It's still pretty mobile, but with the T-64s that have been added in since, and the T-72 and the T-80s, it's really been superseded. It's a technological move, really, more than anything, for me to no longer have the T-10M in my lineup. But I do still love it. I guess, what else can I say here but, Alexa, play British Grenadiers.mp3. Instantly became one of my most favorite vehicles I'd ever had as soon as I actually got a test drive for this one originally, and then after the test drive knew for sure I was going to immediately buy it as soon as I could click on the buttons to complete my order. And I did so. I really do enjoy driving the I really do enjoy driving the Centurion Mark V AVRE. It is so much fun, and the 165mm hash is just so great. And the RP bonus really helps too. It's always going to be something I'll have a soft spot for. Lobbing shells downrange with the arc on those hash is just something that will never ever get old. And I love driving it. I think I always will. From the moment I unlocked this one and added it into my lineup, I pretty much fell in love with it. 30mm cannons on the center line, radar for taking down aircraft, a pretty impressive ammo capacity, a pretty impressive rate of fire, and good enough ammo to take on most enemy main battle tanks and other fighting vehicles rather than just aircraft. This thing has done so much work for me, and I really, really do love it. It's, in my opinion, it is one of the best all-around vehicles that the French lineup has, and I love driving it. Going way back here, the Jagdtiger for the longest time was my primary vehicle to drive. I mean, going way back, like when the IS-3 was the top enemy tank that you would ever run into, and then the IS-4 was added, I drove the Jagdtiger constantly to fight them off and destroy them, and boy, was it a battle. This is still the #1 most driven, and I believe my #1, my top killer vehicle is still the Jagdtiger from the sheer amount of time that I drove it And when you were constantly just getting Germany against Russia, Germany against Russia, Germany against Russia, when tanks were still a new, young battle mode in this game, and it was people like before the Leopard 1 was introduced, and even just after the Leopard 1 was introduced, my top tier lineup had the Jagdtiger in it as a support vehicle to go with the Leo 1, because that's really all Germany had. And yeah, will always enjoy driving the Jagdtiger. It's just the 128mm cannon is pretty fun, and it was also at a point where you could get it into neutral, and you could actually neutral steer the thing pretty relatively easily, which made it a very dangerous enemy that people underestimated quite often. Ah, the Panzer II. What fun this thing used to be when that 20mm cannon fired as rapid fire as anything in the game. I like the Panzer II-C, the Panzer II-F, the Panzer II DAC, which I have on one of my alternate accounts, but I never got on this one. And the Panzer II-H, of course, also falls under the category of Panzer II, but that's a different kind of animal. What I'm talking about here is the actual generic Panzer IIs with the 20mm rapid-fire autocannon. So much fun to drive around at low tiers with these things. Pair it up with a flak Panzer to go along with an extra 20mm cannon, and you can have a lot of fun at reserve battle ratings for Germany. This thing is just, it's just so fun. So fun to take it out every now and then and just scoot around, just unleashing destruction rapid fire across the battlefield. If you play it conservatively and just fire your cannon quick little taps so that you've got basically a long magazine before you have to reload, you can do pretty well. Me personally, I like driving around just letting the whole belt go and then ducking behind cover to reload, because that adds a little extra element of fun to it. Monsieur Bias. I don't know how you could not love this thing. It doesn't have a stabilized gun, but I mean, really. It's got the same ammunition that the M103 has, and it can move about the battlefield quite a bit faster, plus it's got an auto-loading mechanism inside. I had so much fun with the Super Bias when it came out. The Surbaissé, depending all the nicknames you want to give it. I absolutely adore this thing, and I still love driving it around. It's a pain in the butt to fight against, which of course also helps when you're driving it to help you want to love the thing. It is a bit vulnerable. I mean, the front of the turret can certainly take some pretty quick damage, but sitting back from long ranges and dealing out tremendous solid shot destruction is an attraction unto itself. I love this thing. What can I say about this one? Some of the best Heat FS rounds in the game, and for a while at least, certainly had the best APF SDS in the game. Very modern looking tank, very modern looking tank, and just such a good gun, pretty good mobility, just everything that you could really hope to look for in a Western looking kind of tank, right up as modern as we've gotten so far in the game. I adore the Type 90, and I absolutely love driving it. It was an easy choice to put a talisman on this one and use it for all my high-tier grinding for Japan. Absolutely all kinds of fun to drive this thing. I like a lot of the event vehicles that have been given away for various Operation Summer or Christmas special events, but there's only one that I like better than this thing right here. I mean, how could you not? How can you not just love that? Look at that. That is a face that only everyone could love. The KV2 1940 has been so much fun ever since I was able to get it unlocked in an event and just drive it all the time. I like the KV2 1939, but the KV240 is just... It's everything that the KV2 1939 is with a coax machine gun for a little bit of extra help spotting, and it gets all the premium bonuses that it can get. I love this thing. It is so much fun to drive around. I mean, I don't know how you could not enjoy driving a KV2 around and just derping people right out of existence. It's so good. Okay, if you didn't see this one coming, then all I can say to you is, welcome to the channel. Must be your first day. Because anybody who's followed my channel for any length of time knows that my absolute favorite vehicle in this game is the Ersatz M10 Panther. It's just, I have such a great time driving this thing around. I haven't really ever taken it and tried to actually sneak around and get behind American lines and try and fool them into thinking that I'm an M10. Although it's something that's been on the back burner list of stuff to do. But I have had so much fun. It fits into my favorite lineup altogether, which is Germany at 5.7. Obviously, it fits in there very well. However, it also has all the premium boosters and the Silver Lion gain for capturing a point is something like 12,000 Silver Lions. It's insane the amount of money I've made with this thing. So much fun, and I'm so glad I picked this one up during the Christmas special event when it came out. Absolutely love this. Honorable mentions that came close to making this list but didn't quite make it. The RBT5, basically I didn't put it in my top 10 favorite vehicles because I don't actually own it. The Conehead, just for the memes. The M1 Abrams because, well, it's the M1 Abrams and I'm American, so of course I love it, but when the M1A2 or the M1A3 come out, then we'll talk about revisiting this list. The T55, the actual basic T55, not the T55 AM1, the T55 from the regular tech tree, for whatever reason, just performed so well for me. I absolutely loved driving it. I've spaded it out and kind of taken it out of my lineup and replaced it with other vehicles that I've needed to grind mods for, but I do still enjoy driving the plain T55. Ah, the shoot, kill, delete. How I love thee. A premium vehicle, of course, makes it hard to hate it unless you're fighting against it. The premium bonuses and everything for research. All the ERA it has, all the smoke dischargers. Of course, I love using smoke for cover and for masking my movements and stuff. And APF SDS is hard to beat as well. And this one's a little bit more rare. It came from the same special event as the Ersatz M10, actually, the Type 62, which I liked the most when I got it, because for me, it was the light tank that went into my Soviet lineup that looked the most like the rest of the Soviet tanks that I had it built around. The T-55, the T-54s, the T-10, they all have that same sort of shape. And my light Soviet tanks up to that point were like the ASU-85, the Object 906, the PT-76, and they didn't look the same. The Type 62 looks the same as the rest of the Soviet tanks. I really enjoy driving it. It misses the stabilizer, but it does have a really nice heat FS round. The biggest thing that it doesn't have going for it is it does not have a powered turret traverse, and that can just make you want to beat your head against a wall. But other than that, it's a really fun light tank, and I really do enjoy driving it. I don't drive it anywhere near as much as I should, which is part of the reason why I don't have it in the actual top 10 of the list. But there you have it. Let me know what your top 10 favorite vehicles are, if you agree or disagree with any of them. I don't really care if you disagree with any of them, because this is my personal favorite top 10s. So, whatever. But if there's anything that you absolutely hate on here, let me know. But don't worry, I'm going to have a top 10 personally most hated tanks list coming out as well as matching favorite and hated ones for aircraft too. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little personal video, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.